check this out, right? I'm sitting in my office right now. And big shout out to my peoples that got the hat, Humble Not Pussy. That's a pretty cool brand. That's a cool brand. Y'all make sure y'all support it, man. I'll give you the hat to a page, man. Get a hat from a supporter. And y'all support Go Hard Dance too, man. We got a dance studio in the community, man. Kids can come dance and stuff like that. That's what we did with the brand. That's what we did the brand with Go Hard Boys. We did everything pertaining to Go Hard Boys. And I was just thinking, man, I was watching the Clarisha show, and my mind just switched to somewhere else. And I was speaking to my partner, Jewel, and I was like, yo, we need to just start putting more input in on the talk about the culture. Just throw it up on the page, where we throw the podcast out. And I was just sitting back thinking, and I was like, damn, man, all my life I just always really loved bikes. Like, despite of anything I ever been in my life, bikes was always my passion. You know what I'm saying? My days in the streets or whatever, bikes have always been my passion. Like, always, man. It was, when we put this documentary out, you'll get a more personal imprint of who I was with bikes and stuff like that, because I just love them shits. Like, I'm nowhere near as nice as these kids, man. The other night, I was riding with Wayne. We was riding bikes late night and just had a blast, man. I ain't even want to try to do a wheelie, attempt to do a wheelie. I don't even think I got a fear factor of it. I just I don't know, I haven't took time out to just spend time to practice, to get back in the bag of it and all that, because I'm so busy pushing the recipe for bike culture. That's my point. I'm so busy trying to push the recipe for bike culture, and I got the right people next to me, as far as Wayne. We partners on this bike thing all the way, and guys like Tef, anybody that was down with Go Hard Boys that started that brand from the beginning, it's us. It's that circle, no matter what. And then the riders are just an attachment to the culture, because it's the promo part of it. And I love the riders, all the Go Hard Boys. I love all those dudes, period. They like my little brothers. And I don't want to get into the personal note with them. They're like my little brothers. I never wanted to be calling them that's my son, because they got parents. Out of respect for their parents, I just, adopt them as my little brothers. So, I don't do the race card, whatever it is, even Go Hard Boys in the UK, whatever. And even with Wayne, with the shit I'm trying to say is that we go through the same similar shit as far as hate and whatever people have to say. He from Baltimore, I'm from New York, and people try to do a divisional thing. You can never get that from me. I'm my own man. But I don't want to get off subject. I'm all about the recipe for the culture, right? I'm all about the recipe for the culture, and I know the recipe. We know the recipe collectively. I just won't share it or say too much stuff to people because they'll run with it. There's a lot of creative things in bike life culture that people come up with, like even with from guys that take pictures, guys that that capture the moments in bike culture. Those guys are really big assets to the culture. And we created merch for the culture without anybody helping us. We did that. Like, we anybody knows that when Go Hard Boys launched, we had some serious dope merch, and that and it was just dope. I never really needed help. And shout out to my man Corio. Corio made some of the dopest Go Hard apparel, that high-end stuff, from the leather hoodies that Kirk had at War on the Show and varsities and all that. We always tried to raise the bar with the merch, and Wayne got creative his own, and raising it up with raise it up stuff, just raising the bar. But I don't want to lose focus. The point I'm trying to make is that I know the recipe, my people know the recipe to the culture, and it's sad that you got to go through so many hurdles when you know the recipe. Like, I personally don't think anyone really knows the recipe. That's just my opinion. People may think they know, but I don't think you know, because the recipe will consist of so much stuff. And there's no way corporate can come into our culture and suggest what we should do with this culture. Like, how could you tell us how we should put on for instance, a Banshee Killer battle? How can anybody from corporate suggest their opinion on something that we created in the cities? Like my man Freedom, he puts on these bike tours and these bike battles. Dope. I support Free. Because it's from our culture. But there is no way in hell anybody that's not from our culture can create shit. You can't. It'd be virtually impossible. You may have an idea, but you know, we've never created freestyle motocross. We've never created nothing in motocross. And I'll give you an example. Remember when Supreme dropped the campaign, and Wayne and the guys and Benadon and all of them, they did the Supreme campaign. That was them, tapping it, because Supreme is a capsule company, so they just do it by capsules. So Supreme dropped the Fox motocross jerseys, cool. And Fox tried to put that on Ken Roxon motocross. I know my shit. They tried to put it on Ken Roxon, and I remember in the comments they killed him. Why do you wear these nigga stuff? And that's monkey gear. Those guys steal bikes. You know, professional motocross riders and that whole culture, just the fan base alone, don't look at the guys that do the wheelies as, oh, that's a new sport. Nah, because, you know, they just go straight into, oh, they're niggers, they steal. That's not a sport, they can't race. Well, I rode dirt bikes, I raced before, and I rode wheelies. So, you know, it's only a small percentage. Shout out to my boy Grantley that lost his life. He was the next wave. He would have probably been the next Bubba Stewart. Shout out to my man Little One Way Joe. He the next one up, but we got our eyes on him. We want to do some big things with him. But I'm saying is that overall, they don't have the recipe. They don't have, the big corporations doesn't have the recipe for our culture. We have it. And we have to stand by that shit no matter what, and be passionate about it until we in a room with the right people to pitch that thing where they can get it. Totally get it, because the inner city dirt bike culture comes with a whole lot of stuff, man. And I just think brothers don't have a whole lot of history. They just wing it. They just jump in and they bring something, and yeah, and I'm this and I'm that, and wasn't around. You know, if you got that type of history and you know it in depth, then, you know, I love to have those conversations. You know, I'm from an era where Wink was God. Wink will forever be God. You know what I'm saying? And Al Capone and all those dudes in my city was my hero, just like Wayne got dudes from his cities that was heroes. But, you know, I seen dirt bikes from an early age. You know what I'm saying? Like 1982, LA was the first one I seen with a YZ. I don't want to give y'all too much history, because I want y'all to see when we put it on the dot how much history I got and how much footage I got from early 80s. Like footage from early 80s. Not pictures, like literally footage. It's to show you, you know, what the bike culture was like. But, and rest in peace to my brother, Dirt Bike James Forever. Stone Cold Legend. I created the Instagram so y'all could just fall in love with a living legend. But I'm just saying all this to say, man, it's just that I was just sitting here watching the Carisha show, man, you know. Yeah, we on Revolt too, but whatever. But I was watching the show, and it just dawned on me, like, man, these people don't know the recipe for our culture. They don't. And I put a post up a while ago, and I was saying this, man. People got to be careful, man. Y'all got to be careful with these people with these cameras and letting them record every fucking thing. You got to be careful with y'all sending these pictures. All kind of shit. But y'all, a lot of people going to do what they want to do because they want exposure. And I get it. That's what's up. But me personally, and I can advocate for Wayne, I can speak for some people, we're going to do our best to protect the culture. You really can't come around me with no bells and whistle shit and think I'm going to hop on board. You know what I'm saying? Because I really don't mind being down with no major company. As long as it makes sense and that paperwork makes sense and my lawyer comes back, our lawyer comes back and goes, all right, that makes sense. We're going to rock and roll. I don't have no problem sharing a recipe, but you cannot take me to a meeting with none of these major brands and they're going to tell me what a bike league, a dirt bike street riding bike league should consist of. You won't be able to do that. Not with me. You won't be able to do it. Not with asshole Wayne. You can't tell me what a Banshee Killer battle should look like or what a dirt bike battle. How could the fuck you tell me that? Be virtually impossible. Virtually. You couldn't even, I mean, talk mechanic talk with dirt bike culture with someone like Wayne, who's a mechanic, and guys like Numby who build motors that are based off street riding. The bikes that get fixed from our mechanics, from the Jeffs, Wayne, and guys like Numby. Those are the people that I know, all right? These are core mechanics. Those bikes are set up to be fixed for our culture. So we really have our own mechanics. It's so much shit that we really have. We already got our own production team if we really want to go there. You know what I'm saying? But you have to be mindful because we just have the recipe, and I don't think a lot of people got it. And I don't know why that shit just clicked in my head. I said, let me just throw something up. Jules gave me these ideas. Let me just throw something up and drop this knowledge because I don't think people be aware. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think they really be aware of it, man. You can't just You can't even go in certain neighborhoods and do certain shit without going through certain shit. Like, so you can't let corporation come and wave the carrot and explain how should we create the culture or create leagues and stuff. That's just not gonna happen on our watch. I believe it's not gonna happen. If it happened with or without us, that's fine. But authenticity is gonna always mean everything, man. Dirt bike, street riding, the guys that do the wheelies, that shit was created in the inner city, man. Wheeling got created in the inner city, man. I seen something I was doing since I was a child, young kid, turn into a feature film. Feature film. Whether people didn't like it, whether they fuck that's about Baltimore, but I don't give a fuck. Dirt bike riding got created from something I seen as a kid and turned into a big screen. And I was hyped to see that shit. And I was even hyped more that my man and them had an opportunity to do that. Because once you love a motherfucker, and if he get on or I get on, it's you on. You always supposed to look at it like that. Never be envious of your folks. If that one is on, then we on. That's how you look at it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't get into that stuff. I'm just here to protect the culture of it and understand it. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, to see where the culture has went, to see where the tricks have gone. What's the next trick you guys gonna come up with? Cause the no hand shit blew my mind. That wasn't possible in my era. The tuning wasn't possible in my era. A lot of the new tricks, it wasn't possible in my era. But when I seen the no hand scrape, what's coming after that? What's coming after that? I'm talking about on the two-wheelers. I don't know what y'all four-wheeler dudes gonna come up with some amazing shit. And y'all get busy on Banshees. It's a whole nother bracket of wheeling. Like, that Banshee don't got anybody that owned the Banshee has bust their ass or got fucked up real bad. And shout out to my man Big Ben, the legend, Banshee King, John Benji. Those are Banshee gods. Like, I mean, I know some dudes out here phenomenal, but Big Ben was my hero. Like, he was just the dude. He was just the dude of the Banshee and John. But, you know, this is just our culture, man, and we have to be very aware of who we talk to these days and who wants to be a part of it, who really wants to help. Like, you know, you have to be able to pitch the creative aspect of it all and just know your history. You know, you can't just come in winging it and fronting, because that shit, you're going to get exposed. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get exposed. And you got to protect them corporations, too. You can't be inviting them people to the hood and telling them to take their cameras out the car and start filming. You better be careful. You got to be careful, man. Like, you know, it's just like in California. You can't, one time me and Wayne was in Cali with Fetty. We couldn't even get out the car until they went and told everybody it was okay for us to talk. So I respect that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to my little bro, Fetty. Got a little situation. Be all right, man. Come back home. He probably be one of the dopest celebrities. You know, celebrities on the bike. He definitely was aiming for that. He was aiming to be what he was. And I think what we did with him, he turned into everything he wanted to be for a celebrity. I got cursed out by Leo Cohen for teaching him how to ride a Banshee. And he cursed everybody back. And whatever the case may be, I love that dude to death. You know, little situations, but he'd be straight. Just go to a little campy, okay? But the moral of today's conversation is protect the culture. Be mindful. We own the recipe, especially guys as myself and the Waynes and a few other dudes who get it. You know, we own that recipe, man, and we just can't share it because it has to be respected. There's no way any corporation, I don't give a fuck what it is, can create something that we birthed. Because we can't go to X Games and create shit. That shit was birthed. You know what I'm saying? Just like skating and all that. That shit started from them dudes skating in malls and shit and it was treated just like dirt bike culture, and then it turned into a phenomenon. So, you know, just be mindful. You know, the black kids from the inner city, they call us all kind of shit. We came up with some dope shit. And I don't have a racist piece in my blood, but when you see the, you know, other kids, professional kids or whatever they doing one-hand wheelies and scraping and jumping on the seats, remember where they got that from. They got that from us. We got them from the kids that y'all say we steal bikes and do all that shit. Everybody don't steal bikes. And everybody ain't monkeys and thieves and all that shit. We would have had more motocross races, you know, if we had the outlets. I love Bubba Stewart was the baddest thing on the planet, but I think we would have had more Bubba Stewarts if we would have had the outlets. I thought I was going to be Bubba Stewart when I was young. I thought I wanted to be Bob Hanna before fucking Bubba Stewart. You could Google his name. That's who my heroes was. And those Brock Glovers and the Rick Johnsons, but I could go on. But like my little man Grantley, man, we was putting energy into him. Grantley was a bad little motherfucker, man. Shorty was bad, man, and was sorry what happened to him, man. And I just think we would have more motocross professionals if we had the outlets. So when y'all say we can't do certain shit, we didn't have backyard tracks. We didn't have the places to ride to practice motocross. We had the concrete and we had the dealerships. And we rode our bikes from the dealerships to the streets to show off for the streets. Remember, we stamp our champs.